right. A lot of people complaining that JSU wouldn't shut his mouth, and that's why we're late here. Well, guess what? We're only 10 minutes late. It's not a big deal. Don't hold it against JSU. You know, he's an angry little guy, but he just gave some winners with Tony. So I watched that show from start to finish, and I host that show from start to finish usually. Highly recommend it. If you play NBA and you're not watching Tony and JSU on a Sunday morning, I don't know what you're doing. This show, I wouldn't blame you for turning it off. We only have JT Hayes on here, but we do. You know what? We got Gary the GOAT. So that's good to see Gary's here. JT Hayes, you told me you're not going to take shit from me. I don't care. To be honest with you, I wasn't going to give you any, and now you poked the bear. Good morning. How are you? And hit the like button while you're at it.
Happy Mother's Day, Holden.
I forgot about that. Shit, Mother's Day.
I know this is an important day for you. And in the MLB streets, we'll get the pink bats, the pink gloves. It's like baseball. We might actually see some runs because they're playing during the day. So we have to see what happens here. A lot of low totals once again, but excited for a very interesting day. And this is new, this thing where we don't do anything on Mother's Day, where mothers don't do anything at all. When I was a kid, we went to our youth games and then we did something for mom. Now the whole day is about mom. And I think that's just perfect. So excited to watch some Major League Baseball and fet all the women in my life.
I was an immaculate conception, so I don't thank my mother for when I'm here. She really didn't do anything. And I raised myself. Gary, good morning. How are you?
Good. Happy Mother's Day to everybody out there. Ready to dive into the slate. It's been kind of a crazy couple days. We have rain everywhere the last few days, a ton of rainouts, kind of affecting today's slate as well. We only got 7 games today, where it probably should have been at least 10 games. We got a lot of wind blowing in everywhere.
Cold.
It's cool everywhere. I saw a report yesterday. Somebody from the Mets organization said something about the players were saying that the baseball MLB is giving juice balls to nationally televised games.
Yes.
And I know yesterday, or was it the day before yesterday, the Cardinals-Giants game went absolutely nuclear, and that was an FS1 game. So something to look forward to.
We were joking. Gary, I was joking about that earlier this week because the Sunday night game, I think last Sunday night, we had a whole bunch of runs, right? We had the Mets, maybe the Phillies. And I don't think there's any doubt about it. Like if you're playing Showdown, you might want to adjust a little bit because I completely agree that they are giving them juice balls. It wouldn't surprise me at all. It wouldn't. All right. You know what? Every other game sucks. We have a surplus of inventory. Let's just go out and give the juice balls for the big games. And that's what they're going to do. JT Hayes, is it nice to say happy Mother's Day to my mother and the rest of you are out there for yourself? Because that's what I'm going to say.
I think you should.
Okay. Happy Mother's Day to my mother. The rest of you, do whatever you want. I'm sure you pissed your moms off enough in the world that you can try and make up for it today, but it's not going to count. Just a 7-day slate, game slate, I should say, as JC Hayes was saying. And then 1, 2, 3, 4, 6 of the games with temperatures in the 50s or below with winds blowing in at double digits. I don't even know if so no juice balls today. And we got this weather. JT Hayes. Of course, I'm going to take an over team total on the betting show that I do with JJ after this one. But outside of that, talk to me here about the slate plan of attack, because it's definitely a different one.
Yeah, it's a struggle for runs. I think there's only 3 games with totals. Actually, 3 games with totals 8 or above. There's only 1 over, according to the DK Sportsbook. That's the Cleveland-Toronto game, which for Cleveland looks like it's going to be a bullpen game. You have some good pitching here. Garrett Cole, after the Yankees had a couple of days off with rainouts, gets back on the hill against what has been to start the season a very weak Texas Rangers lineup. And then right at that same price point, a guy that's going to be about 25% as much owned as Cole is Alec Manoa in a matchup that's not quite as good against the Cleveland Guardians. But I think by this point, we have to agree that Manoa has shown that he is mostly matchup proof. From there, you go down. Chris Paddock gets a matchup against the Oakland Athletics. Paddock has been efficient. Strikeouts haven't been there, but the A's are striking out about 29% of the time to right-handed pitchers. They do get Ramon Laureano back. Laureano, one of the most exciting players in the game over the last couple of years, went down with an injury. He will make his season debut today leading off, but still doesn't take any interest away, at least my interest away from Paddock, given the weather there with a 16-mile-per-hour wind blowing in directly from, it looks like, right field. So weather in Minnesota is not going to be good for hitters. And then if you want to go down from there, Jordan Lyles is under 5K in a matchup against the Royals, who haven't hit anything so far this season. Their lineup with not as many strikeouts as you'd like to see, but at a guy with a 4.9 price point on DraftKings, I think he's fine. And then I also think you can take a shot on Dane Dunning. A little bit of an issue to left-handed batters, but he does have a pretty decent 27% strikeout rate to lefties, and then about a 21% strikeout rate to righties. So whether they're, again, all conducive to pitching.
Okay. So was that your whole breakdown? We're done with JT Hayes. You're going to go home, or you're at home, hang out with Mother's Day, and that's it. Good breakdown, JT Hayes. Gary, you want to give us a quick slate breakdown, and then we'll get into the pitching. We'll do the rest of what we do, plays of the day, stacks, and then we're done. What's up?
I mean, yeah. So, I mean, I pretty much agree with everything JT said there. I mean, I guess we are. You said slate overview, but he kind of broke down his pitching slate. Kind of keep it moving along here. I'll do the same. So I agree with basically everything he said there. Alec Manoa, is an awesome tournament play today. I'm showing 25% on him as opposed to like 55% on Cole. But Cole's projection is 7 points higher than the number 2 projection from what I'm seeing. So I mean, he has a massive 7.5 K prop with heavy overjuice. That's pretty telling for me. I do have some interest in Chris Paddock, like JT said. I'm not going to personally go down and play Dane Dunning, I do have a little bit of interest in Jordan Lyles, but I think one guy that it's not he's never a spectacular play. I'm not seeing a lot of ownership on him. Any matchup versus Detroit right now, I'm going to attack. I do like me some Jake Odorizzi today. His projection is pretty fair given the price tag. And I'm showing a lot of ownership on Tyler Mahle as well, probably like 25, 30%. I can't do it. I'm not playing Tyler Mahle in that park.
I got a Pirates mini stack for you today, pal.
I do like Pirates
serious.
today.
Do you do too?
Pirates. I do like Pirates.
Oh boy.
But yeah, so I'm going to be heavily concentrated on the top 2 guys. And I think my favorite down low is probably going to be Odorizzi and then Lyles.
Okay. Was that the pitching breakdown or just the overall view of the slate?
That was pitching.
How that was pitching? That was a
pitching.
lot that just went down. So that was very quick. I know JT Hayes wants to get out of here too. I want to relax. I can do the show for 2 hours with you guys. I'm going to take my time, JT Hayes. Also, guys, don't forget, stay away from your moms tonight, especially if dad's still around, because they're probably going to have a good time. JT Hayes, pitching. Let's talk about it, my friend.
Yeah. So, I mean, you've got Cole and Manoa up top, and Gary talked about Cole's projection. What's been interesting this week and really early on in the season, that's been, I would say, about maybe a 60% rate on being a good strategy is fading the highest owned pitcher and going with, if there's another pitcher on the slate of similar capability, it's worked out pretty well. It worked out last night in going under on Corbin Burns. If you did that in a tough matchup with Cole expected to be 65% owned, the issue here is the matchup. And I don't think that it's difficult to see that Cole is going to have a good game against this Texas team, but I think you can play Manoa instead of Cole. I'll definitely do that in some lineups and see if Manoa can have a bigger game than he can. But for me, it's probably going to be Cole and then Manoa in some lineups where I just want to see if I can get leverage if Cole has a down game, gives up a couple of homers, and maybe Manoa doesn't, something like that. Blue Jays also coming off of 2 games yesterday where there were a lot of bullpen arms used. So you could see that maybe Manoa has a little bit of a longer leash today, given a more difficult matchup. And then from there, I mentioned Chris Paddock. I mentioned that you can play Dunning, and I'll have some of him. I'll have some of Lyles. Odorizzi, it's just tough to play him at 7.6 on DraftKings. I can see the point where Detroit has been so bad. They did show some signs of life yesterday, dinged up Framber Valdez a little bit. I don't know if I'm as comfortable going with Jake Odorizzi today as I might otherwise be. He is coming off of 2 good games, but his price did jump up pretty significantly. And I think I prefer getting up to Paddock if I'm going to go at that price point.
Okay, so that's it. We got through pitching. That was wonderful. I did get a text from my mom. Hi, Mom. First time she's ever watching on Run Pure, which is kind of nice. And she said, yes, leave me alone tonight. I will be targeting your father. So that's wonderful. And guess what? The rest of you too. You don't want to think about it. You don't want to think about it, Gary, but it's happening, bro. It's that one time a year. So let me read some stuff off and give you the spiels, and then we'll get into the position by position. Again, just 7 games. And I also want to get into the impact of the double headers we had yesterday, too, because it's 2 games today, right? That'll be impacted. Pittsburgh and Cincinnati and Toronto and Cleveland. Teams that are coming off at least 18 innings yesterday. But we ask you for the like button. Let me tell you why we asked you for the like button, because when you like it, then it makes us look better. And then there's an algorithm. And I feel like Charlie from Always Sunny. There's an algorithm, and then it moves you up and up and up, and it's easier for people to find us. So do us a favor and do yourself a favor. Good mojo on Mother's Day. Hit the like button. Also, if you have not already subscribed, we just gained another 500 subscribers since Friday. So that's awesome, because we were at 8.66 for a long time. Subscribe to our YouTube channel, because then you'll get notifications, be like, hey, JT Hayes is coming on. He's going to say great stuff. And Robert, don't you talk about my mom. Keep her out of your mouth. God damn it. I shouldn't have said that either. Anyways, subscribe, bottom right-hand corner on the thing. We're doing good here, guys. Let's go. We're doing game by game. We don't screw around with the other stuff. JT Hayes, since I started with Gary and he just decided to run as fast as he could with all the pitching, I'm going to start with you. If you would like to give us the plays from our first game today, go ahead. If you don't, no big deal. But it is Milwaukee and Atlanta. And I think this is the only game where we don't have bad weather. I'm serious, right? Like, this could be the only game where we don't have bad weather. Charlie Morton, though, is on the mound. He's not the same guy. What do you want to do here? What do you want to do in this game, JT Hayes?
I've got some interest here. And you mentioned Charlie Morton. Last year, I took a big L in saying that Charlie Morton was lavado or washed. I might have been a year early, because he just looks like a completely different pitcher. And I'm talking about a 12% overall walk rate. He's got a 18% walk rate to left-handed batters. The hard contact issues to left-handed batters are back. That was a problem for him that kept him from being as good as he was the last few years earlier in his career. And this Milwaukee team has been on fire, and they have some left-handed bats that I'm interested in. I'm interested in Christian Yelich. I'm interested in Colton Wong. And you have to be interested in Hoops guy Rowdy Tellez, who has just been on fire. And the Braves bullpen hasn't gotten it going yet. I mean, and I was at one of Morton's games, and just to see the wildness, he just hasn't been crisp. I think there's a good chance he'll turn it around. I just think this is a really tough matchup for him, the way that he's been scuffling. So I like some of these Brewers bats, not necessarily a full stack. And then on the Atlanta side, they've got Aaron Ashby going for the Brewers. Ashby giving up a lot of hard contact. And Ronald Acuna is not only back, but Ronald Acuna looks like he's about to be on one of his legendary hot streaks. He had a home run yesterday off of Corbin Burns. I believe he had a home run the night before. So I like Acuna, I like Riley, I like Duvall. I think that you can go 3-4 deep on this Braves lineup. I like this game quite a bit.
Will you agree or disagree, Mr. Atlanta Braves homer, Gary?
Yeah, so first of all, I think I have to address the elephant in the room with me. I need to take the L. Go ahead and take the L on my Brewers hate. From a couple weeks ago. I swore off the Brewers a couple weeks ago, said I wasn't going to play them this year, said they kind of stunk the room up. And ever since then, I mean, man, they have been the best offense in baseball. So I'm going to hop back on board Milwaukee. And now expect them not to do anything. So just be forewarned.
I believe you said you would never roster the Brewers on a single slate this season.
Well, I told people in Discord a couple of days ago, I need to publicly take my L on that statement and jump back on. So I'm taking my L. Nadestify, I'm sure you are very happy, and you're probably doing some sort of dance over there in your living room. But yeah, I definitely like me some Milwaukee bats. But one thing that's interesting to me with Charlie Morton, I've looked into some of his advanced stuff. Nothing looks really different than it was last year, with the exception of he's not getting any swings and misses outside the zone or at all, really, which is leading his curveballs, it's going to be outside the zone a lot, which is leading to a lot of walks. Like JT said, I think it's going to normalize at some point, and he's not going to be this bad. I'm just not sure it's going to be today. One thing he does have in his favor today, CB Bucknor is the umpire, and he is right up there with Bill Miller as far as pitchers, umpires. So I definitely like offense in this game. I like the Milwaukee side, and I definitely like the Atlanta side as well. Like JT said, Acuna. I already know DC was in the chat earlier saying he's going to be riding this Acuna hot streak. I will be too. One person that won't be owned at all today, Dansby Swanson. He is also a really streaky hitter. He's been that way his whole career. He's heating up a little bit. He's only 3.1K. He's a nice little add-in. You got Contreras down there too. He had a couple bombs for us the other day. He's 3K. I like him. I like all these cheap Braves. Demeret even 2K. I mean, you can fit a Brave stack pretty easily, even with if you throw Acuna and maybe a wraparound with Dansby, Contreras, Demeret, and fit Cole and Manoa pretty easily. So yeah, I like this game a lot.
You like it a lot. Beautiful. Good to hear. And let's move on to our next game. Again, just 7 on the docket today. Kansas City, Baltimore. Gary, I'm coming right back to you. I'm glad you called out Natus Phi. Does he hit you up in the chat or something? That's the one thing. If you're not a subscriber, you can actually harass a lot of our people. I wouldn't do it to JT Hayes because he's been known to stab people. But with Gary, you can basically say anything you want. He doesn't give a shit. He'll just call you out on a show. So Gary, let's get to Let's get to game number 2 here. Kansas City and Baltimore. Another game. I mean, you going to the East Coast today. It's nasty. Upper 40s, low 50s wind blowing in. Let's go.
I do like this game for offense, but it's tough. It's tough to play these guys with that wind. I mean, it's already a pitcher's. I mean, I think every unders have hit almost every game in this stadium. But Baltimore is really cheap. I mean, they got all of their guys are in the 2K range with the exception of Mullins, and he even got a price decrease. I mean, man, they're really cheap. I mean, you can full stack this team and fit the 2 stud pitchers and get you a nice secondary stack pretty easily. Baltimore is definitely my favorite side here. I just don't like Greinke. I mean, he's got like a 2% K rate on the year. Lyles has trouble getting lefties out too. So I definitely like Benintendi. O'Hearn is 2.3K. That's probably it. I mean, I wouldn't full stack KC, maybe like a 2 or 3 man for me, but definitely prefer the Baltimore side, but not really thrilled with the wind situation in this game.
No, why are we messing with any offense really, right? We just say it's a fake.
I mean, they're just cheap. I mean, they're really cheap. Baltimore's really cheap.
Hey, JT, what about throwing in a couple Baltimore cheapies to make your lineup work, or are there other places to go there?
Gary mentioned it. This park has played big, even in decent weather, and now you've got that wind blowing in mid 40s. For me, this game, I mean, I'm not going 150 lineups today. If I was, maybe I'd take a couple of shots, but I think it's Mullins, Mountcastle, and that's about it.
That would be it. Very easy. All right, let me do a read here, and then we'll get back into what we really want to talk about. But it's very, very important. Members never win, right? It's hashtags members never win. And the reason why we started that is because so many people were winning, and then there's a couple guys who are like, members never win. You're just lying. Well, no, we're not. And here's the proof. And just a couple, we're just going to throw a couple up there. We got Dante, who won 13K in MLB. We got Simo 620, won 40K in NBA. I don't even see from last night, the NBA slates have just been absolutely demolishing. And it's going well, and I'm plus money when it comes to NBA so far. So JT, I don't know how much NBA you play, Gary. I don't know how much, but working with Big T and JSU, watching the show. If you get a minute, I'd rather you watch the betting show with me and JJ on the baseball side, but I wouldn't blame you for watching the NBA show because I took notes this morning on me building all my NBA teams right after the betting show on the baseball side. So members never win, but yes, they do. Big T won $49,000 again. Again, I don't give him congratulations unless it's six figures. So whatever, dude. Nice job. Way to brag, but 49,000. Come on. Anybody can do that. They really can't. Texas and the Yankees, JT Hayes. Texas and the Yankees. So before we get into the bats, can you break down Garrett Cole just a little bit more? Like, is he back now? And can we play any bats against him? Or should we?
Well, I think this is a spot where you see that Cole is projected for 65% ownership. And if you're playing multiple lineups, if you're running, let's say 25 or more lineups, yeah, I'd be comfortable taking a stab with a Texas stack just to attack that ownership. But Texas hasn't been very good. The weather in Yankee Stadium is not great. You've got a 13-mile-per-hour wind coming in from center field. And Cole, the numbers, outside of, I think when Gary was talking about Charlie Morton's numbers, like I said, outside of the walks and the, not getting the whiffs, they do look the same. Cole's numbers across the board look the same. He looks like the same pitcher. His expected ERA is actually in line with where I expect him to end up. So all of his numbers say that he's just a guy that's gotten hit hard a couple of times. And that's going to happen to Garrett Cole a couple of times a year, because when guys can square up that fastball, it's going to travel a long way, even with this ball. So the thing about the Rangers is their strikeout rate isn't exactly as high as I'd like it to be, but they just haven't had a lot of offense. So if Cole can get through this matchup cleanly, let's say he gets 7 innings, I think 8-9 strikeouts is more than reasonable to expect from him. So the bottom line is, if you're multi-entering, yeah, sure, take a stab on Texas. But looking at this game and evaluating it, nothing on Texas stands out to me as a must play. In fact, their weighted on base averages, their isolated power averages are all very, very low outside of Adolis Garcia. So you want to take a shot on Garcia as a one-off, fine, no problem. On the Yankees, they've been off for a couple of days. Texas's bullpen has been an issue. Dane Dunning is not a guy who's going to go deep, but it's just not my favorite spot here. I'd take a shot on Rizzo. I'd take a shot maybe on Joey Gallo, but that's probably as much as I'm doing with this game, with the low total and the weather.
Gary, not a lot going on here. Not a lot going on here for JT Hayes. Can you dig somebody up from either side?
I mean, yeah, JT summed it up pretty well on the Texas side. I'm not going to have any. I'm not multi-entering today, just a couple lineups, but definitely no Texas for me. I do have some interest in these Yankees bats, though. I mean, Dunning has been really bad versus left-handed bats. And I'm not going to stay away from the Judges and the Stantons. I will have at least one Yankee stack today.
Okay, for those of you that are subscribers, let me see who. I bet you Uncle T has his core up. He's always first. Yeah, he's like the AP of the baseball side. Uncle T has his core up on both DraftKings and FanDuel. So let me explain to you what we do here at RPS. First of all, there's a playbook. Gary, you did the playbook today? Yes?
No, Uncle T does it on Sundays.
Oh, Uncle T's on Sundays. Okay. So anyways, Uncle T did it today. Gary does a lot of playbooks. And what those guys do is break down their favorite pitchers. Usually there's, 5, if there's a big slate, a lot more than 5 that you could choose from. They break down 5 players at every single position. They give notes. They let you know what the salary is. So the playbook is very valuable. And then just as, if not more valuable, the course. And on DraftKings, what are you getting, guys? You getting 7 on DraftKings? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 on DraftKings. You're getting 6 or 7 on FanDuel. So you're getting the plays that these guys are rolling out the most on Sunday. So if you like their information, well, you can get even more from them when you sign up at RPS right now. Run Pure Sports at the bet side too, because it's a very profitable venture that we have going on here. Okay. Gary, Pittsburgh, Cincinnati, you and I are both on Pittsburgh here. For me, this is more of an eye test and a trend play, and I'm not normally going to do this. I like the lefties. I like Vogelbach a lot today. Gamble, I like. Reynolds, I like. And if you look at what the Reds have done here, the Reds have given up 6 or more runs in 9 of their last 11 games. 9 of 11. and their bullpen is as bad as it gets. I mean, I thought the Phillies bullpen would be the worst in the history of the world. No, it's not even close. They were the worst in WHIP, ERA, home runs, earned runs. No one wants to play the Pirates today, but I got 3 guys I like. How about you?
Yeah, I mean, you hit it the nail on the head, especially with their bullpen. They're right up there with Arizona and Colorado. They're all 3 of those bullpens are absolutely atrocious. And I like the same guys you do here. Gamble, he's 3.9K, 19, 15, 19, 15, last 4 games, DraftKings points wise. I'm seeing like 1% ownership on Ben Gamble at 3,900 with double-digit fantasy points in his last 4 games. Definitely like that. Brian Reynolds, like him a lot here too. He's hitting the ball pretty well, 3.7K. And Vogelbach, I mean, he's the elephant in the room. He's 5K. I don't know exactly what I'll do with him. I mean, lefties, definitely like the lefties here, but 5K, I mean, that's a really big price tag.
No one's going to be on him. Literally.
1%. I mean, literally, maybe less than 1%.
Beautiful.
Michael Chavis, too. He's sitting in that 3-hole. 4.7K, though. I can't do it. I'll be leaving him out. Probably just 3 or 4 guys for me. I don't hate going down. Michael Perez as a catching option. He's 4.2K, though, but it's another lefty in there. Definitely like the Pittsburgh side here. And I do like some Cincy here, too. I mean, Thompson's not good, and the Pittsburgh pen is not really that good either. So yeah, I like Naquin. I like Stevenson, might be my favorite catcher on the slate. He's 3.8K, batting cleanup. He's been hitting the ball really well. So yeah, I like both sides of this game, but I think I like Pittsburgh more as far as like a stack. And I'll just be mixing in some of these Cincinnati guys.
What do you got there, JT Hayes?
Yeah, I like Gamble. I like Reynolds here. I mean, Vogelback at 5K. Why play him when you could play Rizzo at 5-1, or you could drop down to daytime Colin Moran, the other side of this game, at just 2.7K against Zach Thompson, who's been absolutely miserable all season long. So Moustakas, Stevenson, Colin Moran for the Reds, and then I will probably limit my exposure on Pittsburgh to Gamble, Reynolds, and maybe Perez, like Gary mentioned, just because he's a catcher who could pop one out.
Okay. I like the breakdown there. So I really want to roll with Vogelbach, but well, I mean, again, lefty against the Reds, but the weather's bad. And it might be a 2 double day instead of a 2 home run day. Nobody's going to be on him whatsoever. I really do think that some of these lefties have a good day, but you make the case here, you save 2,300 on Moran, and that could be the difference from going to a Dunning to a Garrett Cole, you know? So you gotta, I'm going to revisit that.
Or for that same price point, you could play Rizzo. You could play Matt Olson, who, yes, it's a matchup against a lefty, but one of the best left-handed hitters against left-handed pitching in the league, and there's better weather in that game. So I think for me, it's the price point. I mean, 5K for Vogelbach. I get he's been playing well. This team has actually been hitting, but I don't know. I don't know if I would do it.
Okay. We got 3 more games here, and we're going to go to Toronto and Cleveland. By the way, you know what? We're late enough now. We got 287 watching from Mother's Day crowd. That's pretty good. 104 likes. Where do you want to set the like button out here, JT?
Let's be generous, and let's say 155. So it's a pretty easy thing to get to. 155. We're only going to be on for another 10 minutes because we got to get out of here and celebrate. In my case, my wife's mother, Gary, his wife. You've got your mom. Let's get rolling.
Yeah, my mom's in Florida, just getting hammered today. My dad
on a Zoom with her later.
I Zoomed her this morning. I sang her a song. My dad's getting my dad's been in a pretty tough spot, and finally today he's feeling good for the first time in a long time. So she's like, I'm going to go out. We're going to go get drunk today. I'm like, well, Dad can't get drunk. He only has 1 kidney and he's sick, but you can. She's like, absolutely. She goes, I'm just going to hammer sangrias for about 6 hours and then come back.
You sang her a song?
Yeah.
Would you sing it to us?
You don't want to hear it, do you? It's a bad song. Like, I'll stop after the first verse.
Let's hear it, Holden. Let's hear it.
Happy Mother's Day to you. Happy Mother's Day to you. Stay away from dad's penis. Happy Mother's Day to you. And she was like, no, I'll have a happy Mother's Day, but I'm going after your dad hard tonight. And I was like, gross. Bye.
Love it.
You asked.
Well, hey, listen, that's exactly what I wanted.
You asked and you received. And you get to a certain age, you don't care what your parents do. It's like, that's fine. No, whatever. No, you know, and my dad's
going to be happy and have as much fun as possible.
Yeah, my dad's at the age now where he'll go in a gym and he'll just drop his drawers and you'll just see his ass hanging out, taking a, you know, they don't care. Old guys don't care about walking around the gym nude. So, you know, that's, and after you see that, you're just like, okay, I've seen everything. Everything's fine. We're good. Gary, as you check out, let me bring you back in to engage on our next game. Okay. Toronto and Cleveland. So this is interesting. This Connor Pilkington, right? Came over in the Cesar Hernandez trade, 5 shutout innings out of the bullpen. So this will be his first major league start. He had 120 Ks and 110 innings last season, 4 pitches, tops out around 94. Problem is he's got to deal with Toronto today. The good news is the weather's cold, the wind's blowing in, but do you want to attack Pilkington from the left side or the left-hander Pilkington?
I mean, yeah. So like JT said earlier, this is looking like, I mean, Pilkington's only going to go 2 innings, maybe 3 innings here. And then we're going to see more bullpen. I hate attacking bullpen games. You know, Cleveland's going to have the matchup advantage here. They can pretty much throw whoever they want out there. I'm showing a lot of ownership, especially on Springer, Bichette, and Vlad here. I think I'm going to be underweight on them in this spot. Bichette has been smashing lefties, but I mean, he's going to see him for 1 at bat probably. And then the righty's going to come in there. So I think I'm going to be underweight on this game as a whole, as far as batters, because I have a lot of interest in Manoa on the other side.
Ooh, little Manoa action. JT, let's do it. I'd rather play Manoa than Cole if we're talking about the $100, by the way. Right?
Well, I mean, you're going to get Manoa at 20% ownership.
Yeah.
Where Cole is going to be, he's projected 65.
Yeah.
Good chance with the pitching on this slate and pricing. He comes in a bit higher than that. So you're taking advantage of that. I like Manoa here. I was going to say I would play Jose Ramirez as a one-off, and I saw he was 6.3K on DraftKings. And
that's a lot.
He needs to do a lot at that price point. And I'm just not seeing it day after a doubleheader. So give me Manoa. On the Blue Jays side, you know, it's a team that's built to hit right-handed fastballs very well. They really don't. There's not a ton of guys in this lineup that excel at hitting left-handed pitching. And like Gary said, they're only going to see this guy for 1, maybe 2 at-bats. But where I would go here is Teoscar, Lourdes Gurriel, Kirk, Chapman, and then Santiago Espinal. Those are the guys that I think you'd be a little bit different, get off of the ownership that's on Vlad, that's on Springer and Bichette, and go to that middle of the lineup. But I might take some shots here with Lourdes. I always like to play against left-handed pitching. Teoscar's good against lefties, and Chapman hits lefties pretty well. And those guys are all, outside of Chapman, reasonably priced.
Gary?
Yeah, I mean, I don't hate that at all, especially the Espinal call. I mean, looking at his numbers versus lefties this year, he's got a 507 WOBA and a 368 ISO and 24 at bats. So he's dirt cheap. He might not even see the lefty. I don't know though. I don't know. I think I'm just going to be underweight on Toronto as a whole.
Underweight on Toronto as a whole. Fade Toronto. And you're not even thinking it's a risk. You just fade it, right? That's it. Screw it. We're done with it. I'm supposed to read something else here. What do we want to read, guys? Underdog. Let's do that. You know why? Because Puma Com is back. I forgot to say hi to him that he was back. We had Helmet Head behind the scenes. Helmet, just a wonderful gentleman, a wonderful individual. We do have the Simon back. And Simon, not only is he behind the scenes, he also does our Underdog early NFL best. He does NFL best ball like they're hot tomatoes. You know that saying, don't you? Anyways, Underdog, early NFL best ball, $10 million best ball mania, 3 contests. Use the code Run Pure, new signups, $100 deposit match. I mean, how could you not absolutely love that? On your first deposit, go to Underdog, Run Pure is the code. Okay, let's keep rolling here. We got 2 more games left. JT Hayes, Oakland, Minnesota. Give me gross weather out there. Honestly, outside of the pitching, I don't want anything to do with this game. Do you want to dig somebody up for us?
Just Byron Buxton here. I would play Byron Buxton as a one-off, and I like Paddock. That's about it.
Gary?
I mean, I like Minnesota a little bit here. I like the lefties. There's not too many of them here. And I definitely do like Buxton as well. So I'll have a little bit of Minnesota, but nobody from Oakland though.
You don't sound too excited about it. So I'm not going to go with anything you just said there. I'm just no Minnesota, just go away from it. But we do have a game where there's no weather, no bad weather at least. And that's kind of nice, Gary. Detroit and Houston. Peralta and Odorizzi is the pitching matchup. We got some expensive guys in the top shelf here. I think you mentioned Jordan, Bregman, Baez, Altuve, all above 5K on DraftKings. I think if I look, let me go. I'll go. T likes a little bit of Houston today. Okay. What do you think about this Houston matchup this afternoon? Do you want any Astros, Gary?
Yeah, I mean, Astros are always like my favorite stack. I play them right up there with Stevie Boynton. That's the most of any team in the MLB. Definitely like them here. No Gurriel in the lineup. No Pena in the lineup is a little concerning. I'm seeing a lineup here. Hold on. I'm seeing Diaz in there at shortstop, Goodrum at first base. Castro's behind the plate, and Siri. I definitely
like Diaz. You like Ledney's it's hitting 6th?
No, I'm not really a Diaz guy.
Okay.
I just saw the lineup, and it definitely lowers my interest a little bit. But I mean, Jordan 5.6K, sign me up. Tucker is still only 4.3K. I mean, I don't know what this guy. I mean, you look at this guy's box score, and it should be a lot more because this guy has more barreled outs than anybody in the major leagues. I feel like I get the barrel alerts from Twitter. I mean,
what do you get for barrel outs, Gary? Do they give you points for that?
No, you don't get nothing for that. It's very frustrating. But yeah, 4.3K. Sign me up there. Definitely like some Kyle Tucker. I mean, I think Houston's still. I mean, it lowered my excitement for them a little bit, but I still think they're my top stack on the slate.
JT Hayes.
Yeah, I like Houston here. As far as Peralta, Gary, I mean, this is more like a bullpen game here. I mean, Peralta's not really stretched out, right? What do you think? 4 innings?
Yeah. So he went 2 innings last time. Yeah, that's probably 3 to 4 innings. Probably. Yeah.
So you get into one of the, what's been not a very good bullpen here. I like Tucker. I like Jordan. I like Nico Goodrum a little bit. 2.4K down in the 7-hole, first base, second base eligibility on DraftKings. Switch hitter. So Altuve leading off. Can't go wrong. I like this Houston team. I think that they're going to be popular, but we've talked about, playing bats from Pittsburgh that I don't think are going to be as popular. Cincinnati not as popular, and then the Braves and the Brewers that, when I looked, were coming in at under 10%. So I think it's pretty easy to get different here around your Astros stacks.
Okay, very good. I think we're done. And by the way, let me see here real quick. Yeah, as far as Buxton goes, and there was a guy in the chat. Who was that? Robert. What up, Robert?
Brought us some great information. He said
little hip flexor here for Buxton. Don't you think they're going to play super, super conservative with this guy at this point?
I mean, I would.
Like, he reminds me of Josh Hamilton without the drug addiction. Like, his body is just so frail. It breaks, man. Hamilton had so many injuries. Then he has like 2 years where he's the best player in the world. And I'm just hoping Buxton could get 140 games in. That would be great to see, So kind of reminds me of that.
Yeah. It's
without the heroin and the beating.
He's such a talented player. It is frustrating to see him miss time. So we'll have to see when that lineup comes out.
Okay, very good. Let's Willie Peralta's birthday, only going a few innings, though. Bullpen game from Sean V. Okay, thank you very much. Gary, we're going to do stacks, and then we're going to do plays of the day. So let's do a little stack action. What do you got?
How many you want? Holden?
Give me one. That's all I want.
I mean, it's going to be Houston for me. I mean, that's my best stack, my top stack, and I
didn't you tell us you didn't like him as much because is the lineup?
Yeah, but I mean, I really, really liked them. So now I guess I just really, really like them.
Okay. Okay. It's a stack. JT Hayes.
It's probably for me on this slate. When I look at it, I mean, if you're predicting, you can say I can easily see a situation where none of these teams puts up an outlier run performance, meaning that, no team scores 12 or 13 runs. And so I'm probably not going to full stack on this slate. I'm looking at it in terms of this way: Milwaukee left-handed bats, Pittsburgh left-handed bats, Houston lefties, one-offs from, Atlanta right-handed bats, and then Rizzo, Gallo, Mullins, the middle of that Toronto lineup, and that's about it.
Hold on, no Dansby Swanson today, or are we playing Dansby Swanson? Gary, you kind of mentioned him.
I'll have some Dansby.
You'll have some Dansby. Plus, he's really freaking cheap. Holy moly, he's very cheap today. So, what is that? 3,100 on DK. All right, very good.
They fit really good with Houston too, by the way.
JT Hayes, they're 13 shy on the likes. I'll get Gary's plays of the day. You'll get my play of the day, but if they don't get to the 13, you're not going to you can give it out in the premium Discord. Do you mind with that, or is that okay?
Yeah, that's fine. We got to get to 155. Yeah. We can't go back on our word.
Yeah, don't be dicks. Just it's so easy to do. It's not even funny. Gary, is it the Braves homer play of the day?
Well, I think they call it the groundhog play of the day, but yeah. I mean,
I finally got it right. Now it's not it anymore. All right, what's the groundhog play of the day?
Man, I think I'm going to go to my Braves. And the last time I hyped this guy up, he hit 2 home runs for us. I think he hits one again today. Give me the brother, William Contreras from Atlanta, catcher, 3K. He's going to hit a bomb today.
Ooh, he's cheap. That's a very cheap price tag. I'm going to tell you right now who I'm playing. It's Ben Gamble is going to get you at least a double, and he's definitely going to get you double digits. Now he's at 3.9 on DK, so he's a little bit up, but I like these lefties a lot from Pittsburgh this afternoon. Ben Gamble, 155. There you go. JT Hayes, they got it just in time. Eiffel Tower play of the day.
Yeah, and I hate it because I'm rooting for the Braves to win, and I think you see some runs here today, and I think you see some runs out of this Milwaukee side, and a guy that's been hitting the ball hard, almost very similar this season, not quite as hard as Kyle Tucker, but Christian Yelich hitting the ball hard, not getting exactly the results. This walk rate and hard hit rate to left-handed bats from Charlie Morton on this slate, it's about as good as it gets. So Christian Yelich, Eiffel Tower play of the day.
Yelich is the play. All right, here's what's coming up. We got a lot going on. If you're betting baseball today, JJ from the bet side and myself, we're going to go in about 7 or 8 minutes. We're going to talk about the betting side of things. So JJ and I on the Run Pure bet side. If you are playing NBA today, Tony and JSU already did their slate breakdown, the 2-game slate in the NBA. I will say this again. For me personally, I think the playoffs in the NBA are one of my top 3 most profitable times of the year in DFS, and it's because of those guys, our NBA team. They're absolutely spectacular. And then we'll have a NASCAR show too. So Keg and Cooper coming up. Lots going on. We don't take days off here at RPS. You're not going to get more content in the business. It's just not going to happen. You're not going to get better picks. You're not going to get better analysts. You're obviously not going to get a better host either. Come on, let's face it. So, JT, it's wonderful to see you today. Smiling face. We didn't get into it. I feel like you're just a little mellow. You didn't want to fight today, and that's fine. But it was still good to see you.
It's always good to see you, Holden, and always good to talk the plays with Gary, who 3-4 days a week is grinding the playbook in Discord every day. It's good to see you, Gary.
What if I do a little Cole Manoa pay up today, spend up today? Is that going to be popular?
What's that?
Cole and Manoa, is that going to be a popular?
I don't think it's going to be popular, and I like trying to do that where you run it around some of these cheaper guys, maybe 3-4 cheaper guys, and let you get Acuna, maybe a Yelich, Kyle Tucker, or Jordan, something. I think you can do that. And on these slates, look, one of those guys hits 2 home runs and you've got Cole and Manoa and they pitch well, you're zooming up.
Gary, wonderful to see you as well. Mr. Groundhog, you take care of yourself, okay?
You too, Holden.
At least you're not the hedgehog like Ron Jeremy. That would be bad to call you the hedgehog. I'll be on the bet side with JJ coming up next. For JT Hayes, for Gary, don't forget, thumbs up on the way out. Little subscribe action would be wonderful as well. Simon, please get us out of here.